Good evening, HD592, and welcome back. Some of you were in my HD507. I'm sorry I'm late, but as you can see, I've been suffering with a broken thumb. Broke my thumb on Friday playing pickleball, and I've been under the influence of painkillers because I broke the tip of my thumb. So I want to apologize for being late to this, but happy Tuesday. Checking in with you all. I see some of you have turn in some of your work, which is great. And once again, please forgive me for being a few days late with starting this class, but I did send out videos last week to get you going, and I'll get started hot and heavy. I won't have too much of my own rhetoric here while I sit outside and wait for these young people to come by and trick or treat. But I think most of the trick-or-treating are at parks and everywhere else. But anyway, hope all is well. So let's first talk about your week 2 discussion. Why are you interested in anti-bias education? What I always like to explain to most of my students in human development and sociology is that these are theory-based classes. So because they're theory-based classes, there's really no wrong answer. It's almost you proving your point to myself and to the rest of your classmates. So we may have two different ideas of how to do certain things. But if you can prove to me that your way works, then okay, then you're right. Now, I may not still agree with you, but you still put yourself in a position to prove a point and to make it right. It's almost like a math problem. If you think about it, you can get to an answer so many different ways. 9 times out of 10, that teacher or that professor just want to see that you know how to do the work because it's theory-based. But anyway, moving forward. So module 2 discussion is, why are you interested in anti-bias education? Well, that's something you have to ask yourself. So why am I interested? You can look at your upbringing. You can think about the way you may know of people and how they were treated. Because when you think of anti-bias education, it's meaning that you treat everyone the same. I don't treat a brown kid or a black kid differently than I would treat a white kid or an Asian child. So when you get into this realm of work, you have to be so open-minded. I work with teachers all the time. I'm in administration at a high school, plus I do this. And I also have a nonprofit. I work with boys and young men of color in the inner city schools, underprivileged serve schools. And I see so many teachers that are there just to get a paycheck. Is that you? Just look at yourself. Say, okay, do I want this job because I know it pays pretty well? Not great, but pretty well. You have summers off, holidays off, and if you have kids, it's perfect because you can drop them off and go to work and still be there to help them with whatever they may need moving forward as young people. But what about the kids that you are servicing? That's what you have to ask yourself. So that's why I'm asking you, why are you interested in anti-bias education? I'm looking forward to reading some of your answers and why you're here. I hope it's for a good reason. I know that's why I do it. I see every kid the same. I want every kid to be successful. I want every kid to learn. But again, I see a lot of these teachers, some old, some young. They work with populations that they really don't care for. They leave that population back there when they go home. And they think about it. They don't know anything about their world and or their cultures. And they wonder why they have issues with students. Because you don't know them. You know, we have teachers that are quick to write students up, send students home, or send them to the office. When you could just say, okay, you know, Ron, this is not like you today. What is going on? Ron may tell you, you know, I didn't stay at home last night, or we didn't have food. But Ron walks in class, he's being disruptive. You know, you're upset because you're like, oh, this kid kills me every day. But have you ever taken the time out to figure out Ron's story? Have you ever stopped to think maybe Ron can't read, or maybe Ron can read, but he has a speech impediment? I'm just giving you certain things that disallow us as educators to really see the child for who he or she is rather than being biased. So again, why are you interested in anti-bias education. Tell me and your classmates about your theory and about the way that you feel. Okay, so that's on the discussion. Now, the week one discussion, I read some of them. What is anti-bias curriculum and why is it important? And I kind of brought it up in my week two discussion, as I was saying and speaking in this video. But why is it important? Because it's asking you, why are you interested? Well, why is it important? Again, maybe you've been through something, or maybe you just have a heart to where, you know what, I want to change the education landscape because I hear and see too many things. You may have had an experience with your own child, with yourself, with a younger sibling. It can go on and on and on. And you want to change it, which is great, because that's why we want real good people in this field to change it. And I know I work daily to change it and not be anti-bias. So I know exactly what some of you are feeling, or what maybe all of you are feeling, and you want to change. And I applaud you, and I'm looking forward to working with you in this class. So on your assignments, critical observation reflection paper 1, which was due 2 days ago, which was Sunday. Now, one thing about me, some of you have been in my class before, I will say this: I am not a stickler for dates. Why? Because I understand most of you are adult learners. You have families, children, maybe elderly parents, sick grandparents. The world is just doing this. As long as you let me know, say, hey, professor, I won't be turning this in on this day, I will grant you an extension. Just let me know. And if I see where your work is not being turned in, I will shoot you an email, say, hey, what's up with your critical observation paper? So for those of you that have not turned it in yet, don't stress it. But I do have deadlines, but it's closer to the end, because I'm here to make sure everybody is successful. I'm not here to fail anyone. That's not what I wake up in the morning and say, oh, if they don't have their paper in on this day, if they don't have it written a certain way, I'm failing them. No, I will send it back to you before I fail you, which I'm bringing that up because I'm a stickler for APA, format styling. So if you don't know what APA format styling is yet, or you may know but you're still confused, just let me know. I'll shoot you a video that can help you and walk you through it. But that's the only thing I'm a stickler for, is making sure that the way you write is correct, because trust me, that will help you down the road. So your critical observation reflection paper 1, anti-bias curriculum planning and implementation. So, and that was due again 2 days ago. Now, when you think of anti-bias curriculum planning and implementation, one, you have to know your audience. So who are you planning, curriculum planning and implementing for? Are you going to include the young people? When I say include the young people, if your audience is predominantly Hispanic, and the family is, if most of the families are Spanish speaking, what type of curriculum are you going to create? Are you going to give what is supposed to, what we think is right whenever you're in American education in the different states? Or will you see it and try to modify it to work with the audience that you're servicing, which is the students that you're servicing? And a lot of times that's easy to do before the school year, or whenever you all are planning, when you're speaking with your department head, say, hey, you know, I have 5 classes and I have I have 5 classes and 80 students. All of them are Spanish speaking, come from Spanish speaking family. Most of them are ESL. I'm trying to be as anti-biased as possible with my curriculum and what I'm willing to teach them. Yes, it has to be underneath the umbrella of the American education system, but just where they can relate and understand. Because when they can relate and understand and they feel good about themselves, then that makes your class easy and everything just goes smooth. And they're happy because now they don't feel pressured. They don't feel as if their back is up against the wall where, oh, I don't know what to do if I don't get this right. So it's so many different parameters that actually help. So when you're doing your curriculum planning and implementation, if you already submitted something, because I haven't graded yet, and you want to change something just from what you're hearing me say, you're more than welcome to just drop me an email and just let me know that you will be changing. If you want to stick with what you have, great. But just remember, you have to understand your audience. Scenario: most of us have Apple phones. Some have Samsung, Android. But if you have an Apple phone and you go to the Apple store and you see all those individuals with that t-shirt, either navy blue or red with an apple on it, you want them to know everything there is to know about what is wrong with my phone. And if they don't, you feel a certain kind of way. So put yourself in the shoes of students when you're curriculum planning and trying to implement a curriculum for them. You want them to know everything because they're there for you to teach them. So you go to the Apple store so they can teach you, or make sure that your product is where you want to be so you can navigate and take on the world through your phone. Utilize these life lessons with your classroom and you'll see how successful you can be. Your reflection paper 2 is due on the 5th. The 4 core goals of anti-bias education. Now, I will send out a video of it, but the 4 core goals, if you don't know, is self-awareness, confidence, family pride, and positive social identities. So let's go back to planning and implementing curriculums. You always want young people to understand their self-awareness, demonstrate their self-awareness. You want them to have confidence. But if they don't feel comfortable with the work that you're giving and you don't know who they are, that confidence is here. So that's a core goal for anti-bias education. Confidence. Hey, I understand. I'm ready. I'm ready to take this test. I'm going. Then family pride. Knowing cultures. Being proud of who they are as Hispanic American, African American, Asian American, someone that was born here, maybe their family's from Germany, or as we know now, a lot of the families are going through that maybe Jewish American people. They're having issues. So all these different things. And lastly, positive social identities. Seeing individuals that look like them. Because you can't beat what you can't see. So whenever individuals look like them, just think how they flourish. Say, oh, Mr. Johnson looks just like me. And look what he's doing. I could be there too. So that's us being positive in a social setting with our identities for those that look like us. And even those that don't look like us, we can change the narrative. The school I work at is predominantly Hispanic, black and brown folks. We have no Caucasian people at all, except for my principal, that is. But, she and I have this conversation all the time. A lot of the Hispanics don't interact with black men and vice versa. A lot of the black students don't interact with Hispanic men or women. So we're helping each other as a school because they're seeing me in a different light. So when they see someone that looks like me, they don't go with the narrative that they hear on television or read in the magazines or hear people saying all these horrible things of who we are as black people or who we are as Hispanic people, Latinx people, who we are as Asian people, or even who we are as Caucasian people. So understanding positive social identities in all these settings. And most of you, I'm sure, would like to teach at some level or working with young people. All of this plays into your everyday life, from your profession to social settings to home. So that's all I have for tonight. As you can see, I can talk forever, but I hope this video helps. I hope you watch this whole video because it's very informative. This is what I do every week. I teach through video. Seeing me, understanding me, my body movements, reading my lips is a whole lot easier than me sending you an email or a text and you're like, what are they saying? Because if we know, we read text how we're feeling. So if I'm a little upset, 9 times out of 10, I will read a text of the way I'm feeling and say, what did they say? And I didn't understand. And that's how things happen. So I try to do it through video and not through email and not through text. So you all have a great evening. Happy Halloween. Hope you're not partying. Some of you not partying too much tonight. Maybe you part of the weekend. Trick or treat. I have all this candy that's wasting, and it's 7:21. I'm giving the young people 39 minutes. No. Yes, 39 minutes. So you all have a great evening. Talk to everyone soon, and happy Tuesday.